Alright guys, we are back with another replay. We are doing Total War Warhammer 2 with the End Time submod. This fight will be myself playing as Wintertooth up against Pachadran playing as Crooked Moon. So let's see what each side brought. Looks like he has a front line of goblins. Pretty standard pick. Nice expendable unit that can actually hold on for a couple seconds, won't just instantly disappear like zombies. Then we got some orc boys, more orc air boys, savage orc biggins, more orc boys back there, some savage orc big ones. We have a goblin great shaman leading the fight on that giant spider. We have a colossal squig. That thing is ugly. We have some spider riders back here with some orc boar boys, 2 units of each. And we have some orc boys over here on the flank. Now for the Wintertooth army. We have Marauder Horsemen over here. We have 2 more units over here of Marauder Horsemen. And then we have the Ice Wolves Chariot over here. We have 2 units of Warhounds in the back, just in case the Vanguard deployed behind me. Then we have a front line of Marauders. Then we have some Marauder Spearmen with a unit of Hunters, another unit of Hunters over there, and the third one. And then we have more Spearmen back there. We've got some Armored Skin Wolves hiding back here. Then we got some Famir Warriors with some Huskarls, led by a Chieftain on a chariot with a Shaman Sorcerer of Metal on that chariot. I wasn't sure what he was bringing, so I hid them back here to hide them from any artillery. So let's see how this works out. We got the horseman coming in to flank. It's going to pull off those spider riders and the orc boar boys, which was my goal. I did bring the spearman, but I wanted to try and keep his cavalry away from me as long as possible. And then I got the marauder horsemen here moving up to engage the spider riders. Spider riders, I believe, are just a tad slower, so they won't quite catch them, but they'll be close enough that they need to keep running. Looks like the Pachad is splitting his forces here to try to pin me between both, but I'm sending my Ice Wolves Chariot over there to support. Moving up the Huskarls, moving up the Warhounds to help with the cavalry fight I got going over here. I got the Skin Wolves sitting out here and the Famir Warriors so that I can flank around as needed. Moving up the Chieftain and the Metal Sorcerer as needed. And then we're going to... He barely outranges me, so at least here he's going to be able to get some free shots off. I do have my hunters here that can reach, so they're going to do some nice damage to the Orc Arrow boys, but my melee troops are going to be taking some damage here. I have, I believe, yep, Searing Dune coming down. They're spread out, so they didn't do as much damage as I was hoping. Kind of a waste of a cast there, but you live and you learn a little bit. So with the cav fight over here, the Ice Wolves, unfortunately, you're going to get caught out by the Orc Boar Boys, and I didn't catch this engagement quick enough, and I'm going to lose them within the first 2 minutes of this fight, which is a lot of gold gone. But the Marauder Horsemen are going to be able to engage the Spider Riders, and they will eventually win that fight. And then we have 2 units that will be able to move on against the Orc Boar Boys there. We have the Spider Riders and the Wolves, yep, Warhounds, my bad. Here, since they caught the Spider Riders, they'll be able to get in some free shots and then pull back before the Orc Boys are there. Luckily, again, got some more fire, just really shredding my Hunters here. And I was too worried about bringing up my other units of Hunters. I wanted to kind of wait, decided that I can't just keep taking damage. I'm gonna move up and finally engage. That unit of Hunters is going to break en route. Looks like another Searing Bolt's coming down. That one will do a little bit more damage, but it will get some friendly damage in there. But I am confident in my Marauder's ability to beat the Goblins. I did not plan on the Colossal Squig being there though, but I did get the Spearmen in there to help out with that a little bit. But with the Goblin running in and being able to buff, especially with the Wah buff, it'll be very hard for them to win that fight. But I do have the Hunters finally moving in and taking some damage there. Looks like, did I cast something? I did. I brought Final Transmutation to try and force them to blob up so I could get some free damage down. I do get a few of those good casts off, not as many as I wanted to, but But they did get some great damage in on these blobs here. Colossal Squig decided they didn't want to fight, that they wanted to go in on the ranged units where they'll easily win that fight. My Skin Wolves here got caught into a fight, but they're gonna do some damage. They're gonna mostly take out those Spider Riders. I've got the Marauder Horsemen here that I can bring in when they're done. Warhounds almost routed off the field, but they did come back, luckily enough for me. And then we got the Warhounds over here that came to help. They are going to rout, but this unit of Spider Riders is pretty much done. And then I'll have 2 units of Horsemen to kite out those Orc War Boys. We got the Familiar Warriors moving around. They're going to try and charge into that back line where they could really do some damage. I had the unit of Hunters that broke come back, so that was helpful. It looks like the Colossal Squig is rampaging and coming back into that big blob. Another final transmutation going down. Or it just ended. One of the two. Really getting some good use out of my sorcerer there. Unfortunately, that don't even try it is going to slow him down. I felt that. Like I said, I didn't get quite as many casts off as I wanted. Wasn't too bad, but still a little sad about it. I have the Chieftain over here helping cut through these Savage Orc Biggins. The Spearmen are great, but they are not quite good enough to beat them on their own, so they got their boss there. The Familiar Warriors did come in. I took the Mark of Khorne on them to give them more armor piercing, that extra melee attack, higher charge bonus, and they are immune to psychology and can cause terror. So them moving into the back line here is great for them. Those Marauders do break, but I did get the Huskarls in here, so they'll be able to hold down for at least a little bit and give my Shaman more time to get some casts in. I believe a Searing Dune coming down. Yep. Yeah, that's a nice cast, doing some good damage there. He's up to 55 kills. Looks like the Warhounds are kind of questioning whether they can survive, but I'm going to commit them and sacrifice them to try and get a charge off with the Skin Wolves. Again, just trying to keep the cavalry tied up out here as much as possible, giving my missile cavalry as much time as they can to shoot, and my melee units the time that they need to try and win the grind. Got the 2 units of horsemen over here kiting around those Orc War Boys like I was wanting. They're dangerous in melee combat, but if they can't reach, they can't do damage to me. So we got the Famir here helping out their boss. Their Goblin Great Shaman is moving in. I believe we have another final transmutation going down. Yep, just doing that AoE blob damage, which is nice. We have the Colossal Squig up here really cleaning up. It's up to 126 kills. But I do pull the Famir back to try and break off this unit of Savage Orc Biggins, so I have my spears to bring up against the Great Shaman. But my Chieftain is actually giving a decent counting of himself up against this Goblin Shaman, even though he's on a giant spider. His Spider Riders came back, unfortunately, but those Skin Wolves are actually doing pretty decently for as little health on models as they have left. They are not winning the fight by any means, but again, they are just tying him down. Which sometimes is all you need. If you can win out the grind here, you can wait till the cavalry is tired and then win an engagement there. Got the Marauders kiting there. They're going to move in and get some rear shots in on those Error Boys. Still got some of my range firepower left. Got the Hunters shooting into the Savage Orc Biggins. And then I've got the Famir to charge here if they need to. But I've kind of committed everything to this blob here. Trying to get down as many final transmutations as I can. Just chipping away at that huge health pool of that Great Shaman and that Squig. But unfortunately, my Chieftain is now in the middle of a big fight. He's a small unit, and even though he's not getting back knocked around, the Colossal Squig and the giant spider that the Shaman is on is going to be able to do a lot of damage to him. Gorkul Fix-It coming down. Nice AoE buff that'll really, or debuff rather, sorry, that'll help slow down those units so I can't kite in as much as I want to. But I've got another cast coming down from my Sorcerer Metal. Not getting the big spells off, but he is getting the little spells off, which is sometimes all you need. He's up to 95 kills. But my Shaman, or my Chieftain, I did get him out of there, and he is going to charge up and take care of these Error Boys, try to free up some more of that range firepower. Since I've almost completely lost the melee grind, I need as much of that range firepower as I can. Looks like the Spearmen are trying to come back, but their morale is so low. they're not going to be much use. Looks like the horsemen finally did their job over here, and the skin wolves actually ended up winning that fight, which was nice. With their 7 models and the regeneration they have left, they'll be able to heal up a little bit and then be of more use to me over here in the fight. Unfortunately, I let the chieftain get a little too low. He's only got 800 health left, which is lower than I wanted him, but he did help the Marauder Horsemen. They probably won't win that fight, but they'll keep them tied down, so my hunters over here and here can get some more damage in. The Sorcerer of Metal is looking for another chance to get some magic down. And the range firepower is really starting to chunk through that Goblin and Shaman. It turned out being a lot more useful than I thought, but I was able to keep my distance here and really get some good shots in. Got the Marauder Horseman over here trying to move up. Then we got the unit over there just trying to move up. They still got almost 60% ammo, so that'll be a nice buff. Sending the Skin Wolves with to help take care of the Arrow Boys. And neither side has too much left. Looks like the Wah is starting to build up again. If he can get that off and then get another couple charges in, that would almost completely finish me off. But it looks like we have another final transmutation going down on the Goblin Great Shaman. We will see if it'll be enough to take him out. He's down to 1,300 health. My shaman, or my chieftain, is trying to pull out and trying to move over. Got the hunters taking as many shots as they possibly can on him. Trying to get out that big unit and try to cause a mass rout. Got the Famir trying to move back and get another charge in on that Great Shaman. With their anti-large buffs, they are a great unit for doing that. Both are messed up, so that might be in my favor. Even if they die, if they can get that damage off to get rid of that Great Shaman, it would be huge. Unfortunately, the unit of hunters I had there that was getting off so much fire, got caught in melee, so they are going to break. They might come back, I am not sure. But I did break the Goblin Great Shaman. He's down to 800 health. The Famir charge finally got him to break. And we got the Chieftain and this Metal Sorcerer over here getting rid of those Arrow Boys. Then we've got the 2 units of Horsemen coming in. The extra cavalry will be really helpful in this fight. And another spell going down. That got him up to 151 kills. Nice punishing damage on that blob. All I really had there was routing units, so even if I took some friendly fire damage, it's not too bad. Looks like the hunters did come back, but they are completely out of ammo now, so I'm not sure if there's any ammo left. There's a little bit on these horsemen. Oh, they still have most of theirs, so if I can get some good volleys off, maybe I can take out that shaman that came back. It looks like my units of spearmen is trying to... the goblins are trying to come back. Looks like the Great Shaman is not sure what he wants to do with his life. I've got, looks like we got another spell going down there. Gork will fix it. And then we've got the Shaman sitting there trying to build up his magic reserves again. I did only bring those 2 spells on him. Final Transmutation and the Searing Doom, or Searing Bolts. Sorry, I can't remember the name exactly at this moment. But we have the Chieftain moving in, trying to take out that Goblin Great Shaman, seeing if he can thread the needle between the forces without getting caught in. And it looks like we have the Shaman the Sorcerer moving to back him up. Been kind of careful with the Marauder Horsemen since they're the only unit I have left with ammo. I'm trying not to commit them, trying to get them at a good spot where they can get some volleys in. They had 800 health. Oop, lost 100 off that charge. That's a nice start. And we got the Marauder Horsemen shooting in from that end until they're out of ammo. Looks like they only got a couple shots left. Another Searing spell coming down, doing even more damage. It's going to get him up 157 kills. Not too many, but every little bit helps. We got the Chieftain charging in again, trying to get that Goblin Great Shaman charged from both sides with the Marauder Horsemen. We're going to stop, try and get off the last few rounds they have. He's down to 500 health. We have the Marauder shooting from this side, Sorcerer pulling back, trying to get as much use before he goes down. Got the Hunters in melee combat with the Arrow Boys. They will win that one, and the Arrow Boys will begin to rout. Those horsemen are out of ammo, and they're going to get barely caught by the squig before they flank around and get a charge in. Almost got him gone. Looks like Gorg will fix it, probably going down. Yep, Gorg will fix it to slow down those cavalry so they can't kite and charge quite as much. The chieftain is running for the hills. Maybe he will come back. He's at 1 leadership. Maybe he'll make it back. He does come back. We have the spider down to 482 health. The cavalry kind of got caught. That Gorgon Fix-It really slowed him down for the blob to get there. Another spell coming down, doing some significant damage to those chaff units. He is at 177 kills. Got 20 kills out of that one. Can't complain about those stats. Itchy Nuisance coming down to kind of help them win that blob fight. The unit hunters there is going to rout. Horsemen there are going to rout. But the Goblin Great Shaman is pretty low. Trying to chase off my Shaman. His magic is really being useful there. I have the Skin Wolf sitting there regenning just as much as they possibly can, so I can bring them back as a final killing blow if it comes to it. A lot of wavering going around, a lot of it wiggling back one way and going back another. Looks like not enough WA points are going to probably come out for one more WA to happen. Down to 400 health points on that Shaman, and I'm really trying to get my Shaman around to take out his Shaman. Looks like the Squig is still fairly healthy at 40,000 or 4,000 hit points, sorry. Gonna try and get some more range shots in from the Marauder Horseman. Nice volley. And it's really who can outlast who here, since the leadership really isn't taking either side out. It's who is going to get lucky enough to goon out that lord. I do believe my chieftain left, but I do have that hero left on the shaman, which is kind of what's holding on my army. Hit with a Gorgle Fix-It, try to slow him down. Searing Spell coming down, and that is unfortunately going to miss. That would have done some great damage on him, but you win some, you lose some. And he is going to charge to try to get rid of that Goblin Great Shaman. If he can take him out without leaving, that may, or without dying, that may cause a great enough of a leadership loss for the Orcs to rout. Definitely a grind. This is the closest fight I've ever had with Pachad. Usually he just kind of sweeps the board with me. He is definitely a better player than I am. But you only learn by playing against better players. I've definitely improved in my fights against him, and I'm very grateful to him for helping me learn how to be a better player. Definitely not salty at all about losing every fight I've had. But this could be my first win. I would be really happy. It would show that I've really learned something from him. Requiring a lot of micro, and micro is usually not my strong suit, but I'm actually pretty proud of how well I've done my micro here. My horsemen have almost all ran out of ammo before I've lost them. This one has a little bit left, and I believe if I can get the last of the ammo out of him, I will have used all of my Marauder Horseman ammo. Gork Fix-It coming down on these Skin Wolves. They did get some healing back up, trying to slow them down. That's a nice charge, doing almost 100 damage to that Goblin Great Shaman, and I have finally caught him, and maybe I can finally get rid of him. Down to 338 hit points. My Sorcerer is coming in to try to get that rear charge on him, get rid of him, down to 221 hit points. Sneaky stabbing going in, and he is going to go down. But unfortunately, it looks like that's going to break my Skin Wolves off. My Horsemen are pulling back out, but then my Shaman is going to go down. Oh, nope, he's still alive. He's about to break. I think army losses are gonna end this. Yeah, some more volleys off, and yeah, eventually army losses are going to give it to Crooked Moon. But that was a great fight all around. Some great micro on both sides. The Colossal Squig had 1,500 damage value and 1,600 for the Goblin Great Shaman. My Sorcerer had 2,000 damage value, which is nothing to scoff at. My Chieftain had 1,200. My Huskarls really came through for me in the infantry grind at 345 damage value, but they did have 148 kills. I ended up with 788 damage value on the Armored Skin Wolves. Didn't quite make their cost back. And then 1,200 damage value on the Famir Warriors. These poor Orc Boar Boys really got caught out, only had about 900 to 700 damage value. And then 500 for each of the Spider Riders. But if he hadn't brought them, I would have been able to bring in my cavalry a lot earlier and maybe would have turned the tide of the battle. So it was some great skirmish phase. The cavalry really had their own kind of fight going on, and it allowed his superiority in the melee fight with his Great Shaman and his Savage Orcs to win the fight for him. That unit of Savage Orc Biggins, sorry, had 522 damage value and 184 kills. That is nothing to scoff at. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll be back soon with another replay.